and welcome back to part 4, The List.
That does what best.
On Top Rope Rowdy, episode 156. I'm Mike Hogan.
I'm Justin Carter.
And let's get started with 10 wrestlers punished for trying to steal the limelight.
Sad.
Number 9. This guy right here.
Nope, that pointing the wrong way. This guy.
Future Hall of Fame headliner.
He's not a
Fandango
headliner.
with Big Show.
He's not a headliner. Exactly. Do your job.
I got my job.
Fandango, destroyed by the company's clueless efforts to actually try and maintain his momentum. Fandango's novelty appeal, following a shocking WrestleMania 29 victory over Chris Jericho.
Which was shocking because we didn't expect Fandango to beat Jericho.
I mean, it was his debut match.
Yes.
He hadn't wrestled on any Raw
No, he did
at all.
He
He just danced and he interfered and bothered Jericho, and that was it. But it was strangled to death, but he's tone-deaf followed through. New Jersey fans on the post-WrestleMania Raw calls the initial song and dance, humming his entrance theme alongside a finger jig during his match with Kofi Kingston. Stumbling on their meme of the weekend, the crowd went all in on it throughout the rest of the broadcast. WWE's YouTube channel uploaded footage of fans continuing to sing as they left the building, moved as they were to take advantage of the unlikely interest in the character. Over the following week, videos went viral of mass groups fandangoing, much like this, while the song itself shot up iTunes charts and came within a whisker of cracking the UK Top 40. The company toasted the notoriety by having the ancient Jerry Lawler beat audiences over the heads with the craze the next week. Then have Fandango himself lose a Jericho rematch at the very next pay-per-view. Appeal and credibility squashed. He'd gone from the outhouse to the penthouse and back in a little over a month. Exactly.
Exactly, Indy Cat.
Very upsetting for Fandango.
We can do that too.
We could do meowing instead of fandangoing. I
That's
like
true.
it. But yeah, it doesn't make any sense. They really destroyed it.
Yeah.
And, I mean, people still do it, but it's just not the same anymore.
No.
They could have made a main eventer.
And now that their videos got over
Oh, no.
on SmackDown Live, the backstage stuff,
And then it went to online instead of on the
they
actual
quit showing
show.
it. Yep.
I don't know if they still do it anymore or not.
They do. When they got to build
To one of
a
their matches.
storyline or something, yeah, they show them doing something. But next time, we'll talk about Rusev and Lana.
Lana number 1. Lana the best. He's a little song about her.
Number 1. Lana number. Yes, okay.
Yeah, it's like a couple of different words, but anyway, yeah.
We gotta do the Rusev Day.
Everybody gonna be singing at WrestleMania.
Hell yeah.
Nope. Nope.
Yeah, they will.
Nope.
Let's say no, they will.
Nope. Up next.
Up next, we're going to talk about a little TNA WWE as ranking every TNA wrestler's success in WWE.
Exactly.
And we're at number 14 now.
With Senshi. I never can say his name right, but it's
Senshi.
Kaval.
Senshi.
Or Loki.
Yeah.
He was Kaval in WWE. Yes. Under the names Loki and Senshi. Oh my gosh, that scared me. Brandon Salverster.
Oh my lord.
That's a bad last name. We'll just say Loki. Became one of the great trailblazers of TNA's X division in the company's early years, eventually earning a spot in the developmental arm.
We're not talking about Fandango anymore.
FCW in late 2008. And if you want to see his trailblazing stuff in the X division, you can watch it on the Global Wrestling Network for less than $9.99.
Is it up still?
It's still there.
Wow.
Unfortunately, things from that moment on just didn't go according to plan after he got to FCW 2008. He spent 2 years in the minor leagues despite having already won world title gold in Ring of Honor some 6 years earlier, and when he did arrive on the main roster, there was little to keep him occupied. In fact, he only lasted a total of 3 months on SmackDown before getting his marching orders in December of 2010, the highlight of his run being an unsuccessful challenge for Dolph Ziggler's Intercontinental Championship at Survivor Series. Yes, because he was the winner of the NXT when it was the old thing.
Right, when they did this.
When they did the competition stuff.
Yeah.
But I think if he was hired on and NXT was different, if it was Triple H's NXT, he would be a success.
Yeah, it wouldn't have been a bomb.
It wouldn't have been a bomb like it is. Reports that surfaced in the immediate aftermath of his release had no mention of any attitude problems on the part of Kaval, as he was by then known. Rather, it was simply thought that company heads had no further use for him, rendering the previous 2 years a complete waste of time. But yeah, that's another thing that Ring of Honor and TNA and New Japan, they've said that he has attitude problems.
But next time, we're going to talk about number 13, Mike Bennett. Now Mike Canales.
Exactly.
How long will he last in WWE?
Will he ever come back on TV?
Yes, he'll be at WrestleMania in the Battle Royal.
Oh, there it is. Up next, we have the 10 fatal mistakes that destroyed the TNA brand.
And we're number 8, Beer Money Buried.
Why would you do that?
Why would you bury beer money? Beer money buried.
We're about to find out. There were numerous growing pains for TNA during the period between their historic Spike TV deal in 2005 and Hulk Hogan and Eric Bischoff's arrival in 2010, but it occasionally fostered acts and emotionally connected in such a way that the entire organization looked bigger for their presence. Arguably the company's most successful tag team project ever, Beer Money Inc., later shortened to Beer Money, were a largely over babyface combo organically established from the graveyards of America's Most Wanted and Team Canada. Both Bobby Roode and James Storm were in the midst of passable singles runs, but were canceling each other out as heels somewhat when they began teaming together alongside Storm's manager Jacqueline in 2008. The pair were, for the want of a better phrase, WWE ready. They had established catchphrases, t-shirts, and moves, and were constantly credible despite TNA typically chaotic booking. That was until Hogan and Bischoff's aggressive new reshuffle, when inattentive writing completely froze them out of major plans. A forced heel turn made them look like punitive children desperate for Hulk's attention, and the formation of Four Horsemen retrimmed Fortune alongside AJ Styles, Desmond Wolfe, and Kazarian made all the hard-working stalwarts look painfully second-rate. And is it Desmond Wolfe, Nigel McGuinness? Mm-hmm. Interesting how everything goes back and they get to the WWE somehow.
That's true, yes.
Their collapse mirrored TNA's steep decline from the company it was trying to be, and the shambles it would perpetually become. That's a lot of too many big words for whoever wrote this.
Yeah.
Y'all ought to be ashamed of yourself. So basically, what they're trying to get to in this article is they're saying that whoever was writing was pushing Beer Money correctly. Mm-hmm. And then Eric Bischoff and Hogan came in and thought, let's redo everything. Because that worked in WCW, so we'll do it here.
That's one they're still... Oh, sorry, they're not.
Exactly. But it is amazing when you think that TNA has lasted longer than both WCW and ECW. We're not talking about the NWA, North Carolina stuff. We're talking about when Ted Turner took over and it came WCW to the end of WCW. And ECW, which most likely is when Heyman took over. They're not talking about Eastern Championship Wrestling. They're talking about Extreme Championship Wrestling from the beginning to the end of Extreme Championship Wrestling. It's sad.
You may be able to add both those up, and they still didn't make it.
Possibility. We'll have to look at the years, but that is crazy.
It is, because TNA just hangs on. Somehow it just hangs on.
It's what, 2002? They've been around? So 2012 would have been 10 years. 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So that's 16 years.
Changing up different things, but
they've had different owners, but it's still TNA Wrestling, Impact Wrestling. It's all the same thing.
Yeah.
Still the same company.
Yep.
16 years. Because it was after, because 2001, WCW folded. Mm-hmm. So 2002, Jeff Jarrett started TNA. That's crazy.
That is crazy to think about it.
Crazy.
But next time we'll talk about fatal mistake will be the electrified steel cage.
That's about as bad as when WCW electrified Abdullah the Butcher.
Yes.
Inside that cage.
Yes. That is true.
And that clearly worked.
Oh, it was great, yeah. Especially when the switch fell down already, they put the switch back up and they pull it back down to it.
Bad. Bad.
Fix the switch where it's a little more tension on it, so when people hitting the ropes and hitting the ring, it don't make the switch fall down. Well, that is it for this week. After a 2-week hiatus.
What was that? What does that mean?
That means, I didn't think I'd get that word out right.
Hiatus? It's not a hard word to say. I'll tell you what is a hard word to say. I'm a shambles, because I'm not saying that right. I know I'm not. And perpetually.
Yes.
What the heck? Who is this writer? Because you need to be writing apparently for the Gazette or the deadgum New York Times. Them words is way too big. This is the wrestling article.
Yeah, I know.
We is not large-minded people. No. I'm just saying.
No.
We is not trying to think that big into this.
We're into short words and thinking Big Show belongs as the headliner of Hall of Fame.
And that's not a far-fetched idea, people.
It's bad as Sid Vicious being the headliner.
Now that's never going to happen. Because he only has half the brain that you do.
But we're coming up on WrestleMania. Next Sunday will be WrestleMania.
And don't just say WrestleMania. It'll also be the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
Which will be headlined by Goldberg. And
NXT TakeOver New Orleans.
New Orleans.
Yes.
It's a full weekend. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be popping. It's going to be...
Yeah, because the same place that hosts the Hall of Fame is going to host TakeOver and Raw and SmackDown. They're going to be popping and locking.
And then whoever owns the buildings is going to be making some money.
Yes. And we'll see what stink comes out of New Orleans about the commission.
Oh, I know. They're talking about you can't do no shooting star presses and you can't do power bombs. You know what?
They're going to change that now?
Power bombs.
I heard pile drivers and blood, and now they've added more stuff. Oh,
I've seen a list of 6 different things. You cannot do... Like, you can't shoot through the ropes and stuff like that and do things like that. You cannot do shooting star presses, anything that they said lands on the head. Shooting star presses traditionally land on the stomach.
If you don't on the head, you're in trouble.
But I think what they're saying is if they do it from the turnbuckle to the outside where there are a bunch of people catching them, then that's potentially on the head. Kind of like what Charlotte does when she goes out into the floor. But I guarantee you that commission, they're going to turn the other way for WWE.
Yeah, sir, that doesn't
apply to WWE or Ring of Honor is what I heard.
Yes, that's what
which is very interesting that Ring of Honor is considered because TNA's there that weekend too.
Don't care about TNA.
And Lucha Underground. But I mean, the small indie promotions are going to have to go by all that. Which I mean, what happens? I think there's stuff about chair shots too. So what's going to happen with Combat Zone Wrestling? Like, there's no sense in running that show.
I wouldn't. Yeah, I know.
Because they're going to be there, but you can't even do power bombs?
That is weird.
I mean, they've got some crazy rules this time around, but I wonder if it's also WWE working with that commission about, hey, do some crazy stuff on this list so you can mess them up. Because you know how Vince was at one point, he was trying to block all them people from doing shows on the weekend. Yeah. And I think Triple H is the one that kind of embraced it.
Because they're not taking any money off you.
They're not taking your money. People are still going to do all the accesses. People are still going to do the Hall of Fame. They're still going to be sold out. People are still going to be doing NXT TakeOver. It'll still be sold out. WrestleMania will still be 75, 80,000 people. Yeah. Y'all ain't going to be hurting for nothing. Them little shows that are happening around that town ain't hurting nobody.
No.
If it's anything, it's helping the fans. And so if you're going to stop that, then why talk about your WWE Universe?
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's been a little pity. Like they're going to take money from you.
They ain't doing it.
Because either A, people's going to see NXT, or they're not going to. They're either going to, okay, well, we can't get in because they're sold out.
Right.
And we'll go to this other show.
Right.
More opportunity.
Because I'm sorry, 80,000 people aren't going to fit in the NXT thing or the Hall of Fame thing. So give them something to do.
And some of these indie shows are going to do their shows different times.
So that they don't
run at the same time. Because they're going to like, well, the fans if we do it at the same time, we're going to lose some fans, or they may want to go NXT and don't want to come to us.
Oh, and on the commission thing, it did say that certain things could be approved if agreed upon by the commission person that will be at that building. So you talking about there's going to be a lot of commission workers, all these different shows. So what they're saying is if it's agreed upon before they do it, so they could talk to the commission guy, tell them what move they're talking about doing, and if that commission guy feels that they've had enough training and plenty of experience, then they could sign off on it. It's at his or her, whoever's on the commission. It's in their discretion if it can be approved or not. So they may still get away with some stuff.
I don't know. That'd probably be no blood.
You'd be like, hey, I've been wrestling for 20 years. I'm just on this indie show. Oh, well, then you're approved.
Blood be no blood.
No. Because if WWE ain't doing it, ain't nobody else.
No. It don't happen on WWE if it happens by accident.
Right.
Then they jump in there and people freak out. Oh, God, they stopped the match. They ruined all the momentum.
It is stupid when they do that.
Well, that is it for this week. We don't know what our schedule is for next time.
We may film after TakeOver, before TakeOver. We don't know. We're definitely not filming during WrestleMania.
Yeah, we're going to try to get a show in on Saturday.
It's definitely not happening on WrestleMania Day.
It's not WrestleMania Day. It's like 17 hours, so have to fit it in there.
Yes, out of 24, 20 of them will be WrestleMania.
Roman Reigns celebration.
Next year, I mean, it'll be a full 24-hour WrestleMania. It's going to be insane. Every year is just getting bigger and bigger.
Well, they're going back to New York, New Jersey, so.
Oh, boy.
I know.
They stayed down south enough, I guess.
Atlanta.
Has the new arena been built yet?
What, Atlanta?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, it's already there?
Yes.
Okay. I don't keep up with arenas.
Yes, it's there.
And could it be a record-breaking crowd? Is it big enough for that many people?
Oh, probably 80,000.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if it was like big enough for what they consider record-breaking. It was like 100,000.
They went to the Georgia Dome. It's right next door, and it's. So
they didn't tear down the Georgia Dome?
No, they already imploded it.
Oh, they did.
It's gone.
Okay.
Yes. It is gone. Well, I'm Mike Hogan.
And I'm just a cat.
And we'll see you next time when this man might say,
Big show for the Hall of Fame.